Okay, great.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is Olayo Fernandez, City College of San Francisco instructor in the architecture department and the advisor for the construction management program. And I'd like to oh no, I've already messed up. I'd like to welcome everybody to our very first virtual building industry mixer. A little bit of background on this event. We've been actually having our mixers since 2011, and they started out for the construction management program, and we found them to be a really great way of bringing two communities together, the professional community and our college community. And we've been having them roughly about every year or so, and we usually get about 100 students or so, and we get anywhere from a dozen to 16 different professionals, different firms to attend. And we always get great feedback, both from the professional end in terms of meeting our students and getting to know our students, and from the students' point of view, where they get to meet professionals and get some insight into the professions that they're thinking about entering. This year, we decided to broaden our mixer and to include all of the programs that we have in the architecture department, not only construction management, but architecture and interior design. And we had our mixer all set to go. We had the room reserved. We had the food ordered. Unfortunately, it was scheduled for a few days after the shelter-in-place order went out. So we had to cancel that event. And I thought, well, we'll pick it up in the fall. Then, about 2.5 weeks ago, Gustav Chota, one of our instructors here at City College, came up with the bright idea. I'm being somewhat sarcastic, but it actually is a bright idea. Let's do a virtual mixer. I foolishly said, yeah, why not? And I was joined by a couple of other foolish people, Melissa Peters from Career Services and Emily Huang, our department chair. And in about 2.5 weeks, we've gotten about 16 different professionals, different firms to attend here. And we've now got about 100 students signing up to attend. So I'd like to welcome everybody. And this is our inaugural virtual building mixer. And why don't we get started? Okay, so talking about what our agenda is going to be. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, first we're going to start out with some housekeeping items in terms of how this thing is going to get organized. Then the program is to have roughly 2 different halves of the program. The first half will be roughly about an hour or so, introductions by each of the panelists, where each panelist and each firm will have about 4 minutes or so to talk a little bit, to introduce themselves, talk a little bit about what they do. We'll have some prompts there. Then the idea is then the second half, the second hour, is where we go into breakout rooms, where students can then have individual, they can have conversations with the professionals who are here. So that's basically it. Okay, yeah, we can go next slide.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Huang. I'm the department chair for architecture. And I want to introduce and welcome all of you to today's event and also speak to the department programs we have. I know we have students from all the programs tonight. We have an architecture program with an associate degree. We have a construction management program that offers associate degree, as well as 2 certificates, both the advanced skills certificate and the core skills certificate. And in our interior design program, we have associate science degree, as well as a certificate for assistant interior designers. All of these programs are available to our students, and most of them share some classes. They stack, and I hope you get a chance to take a look at all our departments, and have any questions, reach out to us. Next.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
This is Gustav Chota. I just want to give some quick instructions for Zoom. So For all the attendees, please, if you're not speaking, keep yourself on mute, just so we have no background noise. For the students and any general attendees that are just interested in the program, just to help me assign you to a breakout room, if you could go ahead and add your interest, either your major area of interest right behind your name. If you hover over your video, there's three buttons here. You can rename yourself and just add ARC, CM, interior design, whatever your interest is, and then that'll facilitate us putting you in the right room. At the upper right, you can, if you want to see who the active speaker is, click on speaker view while we're in the panelist presentation, and then send me a chat message if you need any help. And over here to the right, you should on the lower left see the unmute and the start video. Go to the next slide, please. Okay, so once we get into the breakout rooms, I recommend switching over to gallery view so that you can see everyone in the room at the same time, and you'll see those buttons up in the upper right corner. So this is gallery view here on the left. Make sure to unmute yourself. The video is optional, but highly encouraged. And if you'd like to lock your background, just try using a virtual background. So the breakout rooms will be open for about 10 minutes. There'll be a 60-second countdown that'll alert you that you'll be moved to a new room. And the room categories are going to be construction management, architecture, interior design, engineering, and owner developer. We'll probably have some duplicates of rooms since we have a lot of panelists in certain sections.
Hi, I'm Melissa McPeters. I'm the Employment and Training Specialist who helps the students in this department with opportunities for their careers. And during this opportunity here, the expectation is that this is an informational networking event and not a job fair. So if you do want jobs and internships, come find me independently. Please be courteous to everyone while you're in the breakout room and take turns asking questions, and make sure people finish talking before you talk. And at the bottom, there's a way to raise your hand, or you can physically raise your hand. And I also help with the work experience program. So if you are working or you have an internship, you can get college credit for it. So my contact information is in the slide later on, and you can reach me that way. And I also manage with my student worker, Jerry, we manage a job board and other opportunities. So if anyone's companies are hiring, get in touch with me and we'll make sure that we announce that to students.
Okay, great. Thank you, Melissa. So, like I said earlier, we generally have a lot of panelists. And again, for this virtual mixer, we've put together a really good selection of panelists representing a lot of different industries within construction management, architecture, and interior design. So for the first part of the program, what we're going to do is go through each of the panelists, have each panelist introduce themselves, giving themselves a little bit of an introduction. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so as moderator, both Emily and I will be moderating this portion. One of our jobs is to try and stick to about a 4-minute time slot per panelist, because we have a lot of panelists and we want to get to the breakout room section. So roughly what we're asking is just a brief introduction with name, company, job title, if in terms of if you have colleagues like that. Also, there are actually a number of CCSF alumni in there, so please identify yourselves. And then also a little bit about what your firm does, career advice, a little bit about it, how you got to where you are, and any topic or specialty that we should know about you. Again, though, we're trying to keep to about a 4-minute per presenter for this introduction so that we can reserve about an hour or so for our breakout rooms. Okay, great. So let's go to the first firm. Okay, now, I love these mixers. One reason, it's like a reunion. And so first firm we have is AECOM. The reason I say it's a reunion, because the person from AECOM, John Dutch, he was also a former student. And so I love these presentations because I get to see a lot of our former students and people, a lot of the professionals that we see from year to year. So go ahead, John, tell us a little bit about AECOM and yourself.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Alaho. I hope everybody's doing well this evening. My name is John Dutch. I'm a senior construction manager at AECOM. I've worked at AECOM for over 7 years now, and I've been in the construction industry for about 15 years. And as by Alaho, I am a CCSF alumni graduating in the mid-2000s. I work at AECOM. AECOM is a large multinational AEC firm with over 55,000 employees worldwide, spread over 150 countries throughout the world. AECOM has over 20 billion in revenue during the fiscal year 2019. AECOM has been named one of Fortune magazine's most admired companies for the 6th consecutive year. Some of our highlighted projects include the One World Trade Center. We did a lot of work on the 2016 Rio Olympics and Paralympics down in Brazil. We were also integral in the Crossrail project in London. Me personally, I've spent the majority of my construction career working on the educational sector. I've worked for a general contractor on the City College New Mission campus, and I've been working for San Francisco Unified for about the last 11 years. When it comes to career advice, such as training, education, and software, construction is a rapidly evolving industry, and staying up to speed with the latest techniques and software is essential for your professional growth. The area of the industry that one is aiming to join will determine the appropriate tools required for the success for you in the industry that you desire to join. Professional accreditations such as LEED and CCMs, which is Certified Construction Manager, or CMIT, Construction Manager and Training certifications, definitely help candidates stick out from the crowd when looking for an opportunity. And continuing your education throughout your career will always enhance the ability for you to get to where you want to be career-wise and develop your career growth. For me, I started my career path in a different industry altogether. I majored in business administration in the UK, and I worked as an analyst for a home shopping network, QVC, back in the United Kingdom. I decided to change careers in the early 2000s, and I took classes at CCSF, completed my associate's degree in construction management in the mid-2000s. For me, my specialty, as I mentioned, is school construction. I've done K-12 and community college and higher education in California for the last 11, 12 years. Okay, thank you, Alaho.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Okay, so now we'll come to our next panelist, Cliff Lowe. And actually, Cliff, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you've been to every single one of our mixers from the very, very first one.
I would like to agree with you. I don't know how many, but I do try to participate. So with that being said, thank you. As he said, my name is Cliff Lowe. I am the Senior Field Supervisor at Consolidated Engineering. We are an independent third-party materials testing and inspection firm, meaning we test and inspect everything from the soils all the way up to the air conditioning and the roofing, everything in between. But we do bolting, welding, rebar, concrete, masonry, on and on. If it's in a building, we inspect it, and to make sure that it is built according to plans and specifications. We do not make any engineering calls. It's very simple. If it either looks like the plans or it doesn't. And so that's what we do, observe and report. I have been with Consolidated for 20 years now, been in construction for about 45 years. So it can be a very rewarding career. You need a couple of things. You need to be able to work out in the elements, feel comfortable with that. Some days it's very warm, some days it's not so warm. Most of our work is in the 9 Bay Area counties. However, we do cover the entire United States. We have 4,200 employees over 40 different states through different sister companies and such. So if looking to move, that is a great possibility. Consolidated itself runs Salt Lake City, Hawaii. We have 2 branches in Hawaii and in Northern California. I got here by simply just being in construction. Construction pretty much is all I've ever known. I love it. I would not change anything. It's just been very fulfilling for me. We are a union company, which I think has a few advantages to it. Once we get into our breakouts, I can discuss the possibilities and everything from there. So, that's about all I got.
Okay, thank you very much, Cliff. Glad you were able to join us again. And now we're going to be joined by, and we'll hear from Herrero Builders. And I know for a fact that Saptarshi has been with us since the very, very first mixer that we had back in 2011. That's when I first met you. And Saptarshi is actually very active in our program. He's in our advisory board with the CM program. He also is comes and does guest speaking for our classes very, very often. So, Saptarshi, let us know a little bit about Herrero and a little bit about yourself.
All right. Thank you, Lowe, and thank you for inviting me. And I'm very excited about CCSF, the program that you guys have out there. And as Lowe mentioned, I enjoyed being in the advisory board, helping the faculty, helping the students, and thank you for inviting again. So again, Saptarshi Desai, I am the project executive at Herrero Builders. In the industry for almost 34 years, and I've done in the field. I'm in the field, just like Cliff mentioned. I've worked with Consolidated Engineering. Gary Kappa is one of my best friends. I worked with Gary for many, many years. And I'm in the field, pushing and managing the projects. I work part of the estimating, part of the superintendent, part of the project management, and climb through the ladder within the firm. And I'm with Herrero Builders for last 7 years. I worked for Turner Construction for 15 and few other firms prior to that. And I did my bachelor in civil engineering from India, came to US in '83, did my master's in construction management from New Jersey, moved to California in '86, and moved to San Francisco from LA in 1993. And I have a lot of projects here in the Bay Area. But quickly about Herrero Builders. Herrero Builders is a family-owned, medium-sized company here in San Francisco for last 65 years. And I call it like a boutique general contracting firm that does a very special type of projects. We did mainly healthcare. Healthcare is our main projects that we do. Just many of you might know the 2 big hospitals that got built in San Francisco, one on Venice and Gary for Sutter, $1.2 billion hospital, and then one on Cesar Chavez, Army Street, we used to call, and that's in Mission, the St. Luke's Replacement Hospital, now they call Mission Bernal Campus, and I was the project executive on that Mission Bernal project. It's a $500 million replacement hospital for Sutter. So I finished that one in 2018. And Herrero does a lot of private schools as well. So healthcare schools, and then we do the high tech and other commercial type of projects, but healthcare is our bread and butter, and that's what we do. And just to kind of why it's a boutique company, we don't generally do like a lump sum type of bidding. We do sometimes, but most of our projects are negotiated contracts. and we do IPD and IFOA type of projects. Many of you might know that terms. IPD is integrated project delivery, and IFOA is integrated form of agreement. So the whole idea is to change the industry from typical lump sum type of contract where more energy gets wasted in fighting for everything. Instead of that, how to collaborate with the design team, how to collaborate with the owner, and how to add the values early on any project that we as a team are successful together. And it's not about one company, it's not about one individual, it's about everybody together, all the stakeholders together, that we value everybody's input. We talk about how they can be proactive on this whole process, what we call the value integration process, that we start on every single project, we identify the values for the team, and then we deliver those values. So money is not the criteria, but how to deliver the values in the best possible way. That's what we do. That's what I believe in. That's what I think the industry is going, and the industry should go in that direction, so that we can all have fun and success together.
Okay, thank you very much, Saptarshi.
Does that help, Julio? Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, and then we'll have more opportunities in the breakout rooms. So now we'll go on to Jones Lang LaSalle. And again, familiar faces. Well, one in particular, Marcus, because Marcus Gary is also one of our instructors here in the program, Construction Management Program. So Marcus, maybe you can introduce the other people from JLL and tell us a little bit about JLL.
Sure. Thank you very much, Lowe, and thank you very much, City College Program, for putting this on for our students and our community. Very excited for being here. I'm really excited to have my colleagues here with me as well. So you see on the slide here, we have Doris McCarthy, who is a senior project manager with JLL, and Mindy Bacharach, who also is a project manager with JLL. Please, when you get an opportunity, come on into the developer owner breakout room to find out more about who we are and what we do and what JLL is. But just to give you a little background on high level what we are all about. So JLL it's one of the largest companies you probably have never heard of, but now that I've shared with you our logo, you're probably going to look for it. We're a professional service and investment management firm, and we specialize in real estate. And we focus on helping real estate owners, occupiers, and investors around the world achieve their business ambitions. We're a Fortune 500 company. We're in about 80 different countries. We have about 300 different offices, and we have close to 92,000 people who work for us in our firm. And just to give you a little bit of background on my path as well. So as Alio said, I'm an instructor for City College, but my path on getting there, one thing that I always like to tell all of the students is don't be afraid of, if your path doesn't feel like it's very linear, like it's not going from step to step to achieving your goal, you are on the path that you're supposed to be on. Everything is happening in your life for a reason. And so I went from, graduated from Berkeley, UC Berkeley as an architect major and got into, and from there I found that I also went to, I got laid off as a drafter and went into general construction because I knew how to draw. And so I ended up becoming a shop, doing shop drawings for a cabinet shop. And from there, I stuck with general contracting and went back to school and got a master's in construction management. And from there, stayed with the GC, worked for a GC, then worked and became a construction manager. And then also now I'm doing that for JLL at the same time, and I'm an instructor. So kind of wanted to share that with you, that path that it may feel like you're taking some side steps, but you're not. Just to share a little bit more about what JLL does, we have many different areas. So we do construction management, we do occupancy planning, we do facilities management, we do property management. There's so many different areas under the real estate umbrella that we'll talk more about in the breakout, but just to kind of share that picture. And we have a lot of, clients that you've probably heard of: Uber, Lyft, United Airlines, Bank of America. These are clients of ours that we help in their real estate process. So please come and join us in our breakout and you hear more about us.
Thank you very much, Marcus. So
You're welcome. Thank you.
now we'll go on to McCarthy. We actually have two slides from McCarthy. The first one, Janelle Todd. And I believe, Janelle, you're from the Southern California office?
Correct, yes. Thank you,
Okay, so
Lowe.
tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing with McCarthy.
Sure. So I'm Janelle Todd with McCarthy Building Companies in Southern California. I'm a pre-construction manager in our Southern California office. McCarthy, just real quick, is a general contractor. We are employee owned, and our Southern California office specializes in the healthcare, education, parking, and commercial major business units. And I work in the commercial business unit primarily, and healthcare, which are sort of combined from the pre-construction perspective. We also self-perform in Southern California. We self-perform primarily concrete, and I'm involved in that from time to time. So I guess my story a little bit I wanted to share is that when I was thinking about this mixer, I was thinking back to when I was in college, and I started out, actually my degree was initially in architecture. And as I was taking different classes, they had an introduction course that introduced us to other disciplines within the house of building. And so like landscape architecture, interior design, it sounds like a lot of those companies have representation here today as well: civil, structural, and construction management. And everybody talked about what that meant to them and what that meant as a career. And when the guys that were the Department of Construction Management at my university started talking about construction management, I said, I could relate. And I said, you know what, I think that is a better fit for me. So I switched my major from architecture to construction management. And the things that I kind of personally loved about the story of construction management versus architecture, I guess, was that architects are very much design oriented, and I appreciate that. But my mindset is very constructability oriented. And so from the construction management side, that sort of drove it was a better fit for me and actually building things. So I actually started my career in the field with McCarthy, and I was in the field for several years, and then I transferred into the pre-construction department. So again, you know, there's opportunities out there for whatever interests you, and you know, your opportunities can change and grow with you. And I hope that, you know, you guys come and listen to what we have to share as well in the breakout session.
Thank you very much, Janelle. One thing I wanted to mention here is that when I go through all these lists of all the professionals, it really is, building really is a community. The designers, the contractors, the construction managers, and a lot of these firms and a lot of these people, you know, you get to know and you'll be working with them for years and years. So like for McCarthy, for instance, I worked with them on a project back in 2000, the Sonoma State University project, the library there. So this is where it's really great that these firms come back and they participate in these events. And I like to see them again because a lot of these firms are the ones that I was working with when I was working actively in the profession. So another slide from McCarthy, and Derek, I'm not sure if Alice was able to come in today, but I know Derek is here today. And so maybe you can talk about and introduce whoever else is with you with McCarthy. And McCarthy is also one of the firms that's active in our construction management advisory board. And so they're very active in with our program, also providing guest speakers for our classes. Derek, why don't you say a little bit more about McCarthy?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Lyle. So yeah, Alice wasn't able to join us today, but I've got Lila with me, who I'll let introduce herself in a second as well. But I'm Derek Fitzgerald. I'm a pre-construction director with McCarthy Building Companies up here in the Bay Area. I live just down the street from the CCSF campus, actually. So I've been involved for a number of years with McCarthy. I studied civil engineering in school, and then kind of decided that I really liked the people aspect of construction a little more than the technical engineering aspect, and that kind of took my career into the general contracting route. I started out similar to Janelle in the field, and then moved into our pre-construction services group, where I was doing estimating for a little while, and then moved into kind of a pre-construction management and now a pre-construction director role. Janelle gave a great background in McCarthy. Just to spotlight a few other things kind of specific here to our Northern Pacific region up in the Bay Area. We've got 3 offices here in San Francisco, San Jose, and Sacramento. And our kind of 3 core markets that we really focus on are higher education, science and technology, and healthcare. A lot of major clients around the Bay Area, from Stanford University and biopharmaceutical companies like Gilead and Genentech to tech companies like Google, Kaiser Permanente, and then we're actually getting ready to build.
I'm in a building industry mixer for CCSF.
And then we're actually getting ready to build a new performing arts center for the CCSF campus. So we're working through pre-construction with that right now. We work on a lot of collaborative type projects in the design build and kind of lease back project type scenarios, providing pre-construction and construction services. And with that, I'll kind of turn it over to Lila to introduce herself as well.
Hey everyone, my name is Lila and I'm a senior estimator with McCarthy. I started with McCarthy 4 years ago, right out of college, as a project engineer. So similar to Janelle, Derek, I started in the field and made my transition into estimating last year, actually. So I've been with them and it'll be 4 years in August. A little bit about me, I'm from Southern California and I came up to the Bay to go to Cal. So similar to Marcus earlier, I also studied architecture at Berkeley. And ultimately I was involved in a couple clubs on campus that were centered around construction. So that's how I got exposed to the industry and ultimately chose to go that way. And I really love like seeing a building come together in real life aspect of it. So that's why I started my career there. So a little bit of a career advice that I would give is really get involved with any clubs that you have on your campus, whether it's now or later as you transition through your career. One, it's great to get exposed to real life aspects of what those clubs can give you, but also build your network. So it's really great that you guys are here building your network as well. So I applaud you for that. That's really awesome. So I'll get to talk to you guys a little bit more later.
Thank you very much. So another great thing that I like about these mixers is not only meeting the people that I already know, but welcoming new people to our City College family. And so I'd like to welcome Mill Creek Residential. Kurt, so this would be the first time you're coming in here. Glad you could join us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your firm.
Yes, thank you. My name is Kurt Tsai, Vice President Construction in Pre-Construction Estimating for our North California office. So Mill Creek Residential is focused on the core competence is on the development and the constructions of asset class market rate multifamily apartments. So we had the office in about 15 to 18 offices throughout the states, and most focused on the urban core. For example, in the North California, we had three markets: San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland, of course. Then potentially go out to the Sacramento or the Reddings. renal areas. And I don't know, let me explain that a multifamily typical, we had called the podium. This is concrete called as a podium, and the wood as a build up. Or we have the full type 1 is all steel concrete structures. So that's majority of the multifamily apartments, usually around 200 to 400 units. And the size sometimes very small in San Francisco, can be more about 300 to 400 square foot. Suburban can be around 8 to 1200 square foot. So this is all varied by the markets. So the apartments have, it's always shortage in the Bay Areas. So there's a city required to have the affordable units, so that have a different fund, have different requirements as well for our fundings, and also impact our buyout and the estimating. So for pre-con, I enjoy that as all like utilize my skill as architecturals and the construction management, and the more like a people skill to really talking to the people, get the people interest, driving that directions, making the goal as your most cost and the quality and the schedule conscious projects. Developers are usually very sensitive on the cost and the schedules. That's the driving force. And in this market, it's most likely will be over the peak. So most of our jobs are either on hold or shutdowns. So try to stay on the project is really the critical exercise. So where I'm right now is, I never think about 20, 30 years before I can be this position. I start with architectural student in Taiwan, and moving here around 1996, and also starting with a Master of Architecture as a major. Then actually learning that I can double degree as construction management, and I take the opportunities to be a dual majors. Then I starting like learning the construction management is the way I actually enjoy most. And moving to the Bay Area, follow with my girlfriend at that time. Now it's my wife. So I started learning the architects actually joins, starting from the architects, and actually I worked for McCarthy, just we talked earlier, as a project engineer. So I'm working on the design part, and also from the construction part, and also jumping to the construction management. And I actually worked a few projects in the City College of San Francisco's joint use and the performance are at the very early. And I actually enjoy see that joint use of it, joint use buildings being complete, and I just check it out, and I can share with you what I've done before in the breakout sessions. So and now I enjoy estimating and the pre-constructions, and it is continue growing, never stop. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kurt. So another person that's new to our City College family is O'Connor Construction Management. And we have Rob Muir, so glad to meet you, at least virtually. Hope to meet you in person soon. So Rob, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and O'Connor Construction Management? Perhaps Rob didn't. Okay, this is where in reality I could look to a table and we set people up in different tables and I'd see, wait a minute, there's nobody at that table. So I guess Rob wasn't able to join us just yet. If he catches up, we'll put him in later. If not, then let's switch over to the next slide, Swinnerton. And I know you guys are there.
Oh, and Rob, I'm sorry, Olaya, Rob is here. He's just
oh, he is.
Mute.
Where is he?
So he's still on mute. He's on the phone, so it's still on mute. There you go, Rob. Thank you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Great. All right. So good evening, City College staff and students. There I go. So I have attended in previous years. I just haven't met you. Some of the students from the estimating class will know me. I jumped in on a guest speaker session with Gustav to tackle the Division 5 and 6 estimating class. So a little bit about me. I'm with O'Connor Construction Management. We are an independent construction management firm. I've been with the company for nearly 20 years. I've been in the industry for over 25 years. O'Connor has been around since 1982. Started initially as an estimating cost consultant, and over the next 10 years grew into some of the services we offer now, which is program, project, construction management, scheduling, constructability review, value engineering, and whatever miscellaneous services that you might need. We have a national reach now with offices in DC, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, up here in the Bay Area, and miscellaneous satellite locations. Sectors, we're mostly in the public sector. We seem to do okay through the recessionary times. We do have a small percentage of private sector. So with the public sector, we do a lot in education, healthcare. We do a lot of federal, state, city and county work. Let's see here. A little bit of advice for the students. Find out what your passion is. And investigate some of the disciplines and job opportunities in the construction industry. And as best you can, try to match that because you want to be true to yourself. If you go into employment with an employer, they'll know whether you really want to be there or not. And if it's something that you don't really want to do, it'll go against you and your career opportunities and your progress. What else have we got here? So my story, I worked really hard through university. I did 2 degrees at the same time, Bachelor of Science in Construction Management and a quantity surveying degree, which they now have renamed, Real Estate and Development, with a large component of quantity surveying. So for the first 8 years of my career, I worked really hard. First for a trade contractor as an estimator, then multiple roles for a general contractor, and then I moved into working for a quantity surveying firm. Another piece of advice, which is in the middle of my story here, is you cannot talk down the importance of education and certifications. Certifications are something you can get once you've finished your studies, no matter how much you've studied. And it was through my certification as a quantity surveyor, which gave me the opportunity to relocate and be recruited over here by O'Connor Construction Management, because the original owner who set the company up was a quantity surveyor out of the UK. So that's my story, and I'll pass it back.
Thank you very much, Rob. So now we'll go to Swinnerton and a couple of other familiar faces again. Shirley Kong, Jerry Chen, both students from City College. Shirley was in my classes. Jerry actually was a member and a graduate from another program that we work with also, a CAPSA program that is over at the Mission campus, but using some of our CM classes and continuing taking our construction management classes. Good to see you guys again, Shirley and Jerry. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and Swinnerton?
Okay. Thanks, Lyle. Can everyone hear me? I'm using my headphone.
Yep.
Lyle, Shirley called me earlier saying he cannot make it to this meeting.
Sorry you couldn't make it. Okay, Jerry.
Okay. So for myself, my name is Jerry, and right now I'm working as a project admin for Swinnerton Builders. Swinnerton is one of the biggest general contractor in the country, and we provide construction management service to our clients. Even though we hire a lot of subcontractor on our trades, for example, MEP, electrical, Swinnerton does have its own self-performed division. We have self-performed concrete and drywall. I started on this job last year in June, so I'm almost reaching my 1 year at the shops. And so far, it's been an exciting journey for myself. And also, I'm still taking classes at City College to complete my education. So far, I have taken classes from Lyle, Guillermo, and Marcus. So it's great to see everybody here. And I'm just here to share my work experience for students who want to get into construction management.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerry. Good to see you again.
Same
so,
here.
Welcoming another new participant to our mixer, TBD Consultants, and we have Andy Byer and Sam Evison. So, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about TBD Consultants?
I think Sam's going to take this. You want to try and switch to Sam?
You're on mute, Sam.
Hi, everybody.
All right, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, falling at the first. Hi, I'm Sam Evison. I'm principal with TBD Consultants. We style ourselves as project construction cost management firm. We have a number of services we provide to clients. Pre-construction cost planning is probably the biggest thing we do. We also have a group of people who controls. We support owners and clients during the construction phase with things like bid analysis, trade package review, that kind of thing. And we're pretty active geographically, we're active up and down the West Coast. Our main office is in San Francisco. There are 15 of us here. We're a firm of 25 people in total, all offices from San Diego all the way up to Seattle. And we're active in pretty well all sectors, but I would say the big ones are education, and that's higher ed, K through 12, community college. Science and technology is a big sector for us. Healthcare is, I think, for a big sector for probably everybody on this call. We do a certain amount of commercial, we have some high-tech clients, and we also do a fair bit of kind of historic renovation, seismic work, which, you know, is a fairly constant part of the construction market here. A little bit about me. I started my life as a structural engineer in London. I did 10 years working there, having done an undergrad in civil and structural engineering. I worked in the design office for 10 years. I moved out to sunny California without really a very good game plan. And I think maybe if I had a bit of career advice, I would say what I did was I just picked up the phone and rang people up and said, can I come and talk to you for half an hour? One of those people hired me and is now 25 years later one of my partners. So I think the career advice would be don't be afraid to approach people. People are very willing to help you and talk to you if you just approach them. That's probably enough. If you want to speak, Andy, now. Andy, do you want to take over?
Oh, sure. Sorry, I missed the baton pass there. But thank you. So I'm a senior cost consultant. I do a lot of cost estimating with TBD Consultants, working for various clients and involved in pre-construction as well as activities during construction. But TBD Consultants is a third-party company. We don't build anything, but we work for all sorts of entities in the industry. We work for architects, we work for owners and developers, we work for general contractors. So we have clients of all types and get involved in all types of projects. In my past, I liked to build things. When I was a kid, I liked to put things together. So construction really lent itself to what I like to do. And I also started out in structural engineering, but I really was enamored with being involved in lots of the aspects of construction projects. And so kind of wanted to go the general contractor route. And so switched over to that and spent many years in the pre-construction departments for general contractors, and even spent some time out in the field. So picked up a lot of basic. There's one thing I can say: when you work for a general contractor, you very quickly will learn kind of a high level understanding of how construction works. So for me, that upbringing was really valuable. But I also found working at a general contractor to be quite exciting and stressful. So now that I've kind of paved the way working for general contractors, I wanted to get into more of a consulting mode, and I've been with TBD Consultants for 3 years. So I think the consulting route is a great profession, and I enjoy it very much now. But look forward to meeting a lot of you later in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. So we now welcome another new participant to our mixer, Stacy Nagelstead and Cory Beck from XL Construction. So welcome aboard.
Cool. Thank you very much. I guess I'll take the lead first. So my name is Stacy Nagelstad. I'm a senior cost engineer with XL. I've been with XL for the past 5 years now, and had an internship with them. So that's how I actually got into construction. I guess going into my background, I came to Northern California to study civil and environmental engineering at Berkeley, similar to a few others. And I really focused on environmental side. I thought I wanted to be environmental engineering and sustainability focused. I had a few different internships, civil engineering design, environmental engineering, and then XL Construction, like I said. And what drew me to XL and construction industry in general was a lot of the engineering you do at a firm is you really focus and become the expert in a specialized niche or a certain type of building, whereas construction management, general contracting, you get to see it all. And so that really appealed to me. And I think some advice I would give to the students here is ultimately classes aren't going to tell you what you'll really be interested in out in the real world. So try and get as much real world experience, get involved in clubs, try and get internships to really test the waters and see what suits you, because general contracting is really a great fit for me, whereas for a lot of people it's not. So that's some advice I would give. And I think I'll pass it along to Cory to give a little more overview about XL as a whole, and hope to talk to you guys in the breakout room.
All right, thanks, Stacy. Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. My name is Cory Beck. I'm a senior project engineer with XL Construction. Studied construction management at Cal Poly SLO and graduated in 2014. A little bit about XL. We're a commercial general contractor based out of Milpitas here in the Bay Area. Our projects mainly focus here in the Bay Area, but also the Sacramento region. We're focused in probably 6 main market segments. So that's advanced tech, civic, corporate office, education, healthcare, and life science. During my time at XL, I've gotten the opportunity to work in mainly life science, but also education, and currently a healthcare job in Berkeley for Kaiser. So I've got a lot of opportunity to dabble in different market segments, which has been really great. If I had to give my younger self some advice as a student, it'd be to take advantage of any opportunities to meet different companies, firms, and people within the construction industry and stay in contact with them. It's amazing how small this construction community is and how often you bump into or get the opportunity to work with folks you have met. I recently completed a job with TBD Consultants, who was just on a moment ago with Sam and Andy. So it's amazing, again, how small this industry is, how often you bump into folks, and the relationships you get to make with fellow builders is pretty amazing. So that's it for now, but I look forward to speaking with more of you, and we'll hand it off to the next person. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hey, hi, this is Emily Huang, and I will be introducing the architecture interior design participants today. So first we have David Kessler. He's the owner and architect of David Kessler Architects. He's also our CCSF instructor, teaching design studios and history class. David?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I just unmuted my phone. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, so I wanted to, one second, just unmute myself. Let me straighten that out. Okay, so everyone can hear me. I am very happy to be part of this mixer, and thanks to CCSF for setting it up. So my background, I actually know Emily, who's the director from Academy of Arts, where we taught many years ago, and we both went to Columbia University at different times. We got a Master of Architecture there about 30 years ago. So I've been, engaged in establishing my own firm for 20 years. And I consider myself very much an artist architect. I'm a painter, industrial designer, and I've always kind of made an attempt, successful or not, in following a kind of Frank Lloyd Wright model of just really try to learn as much about art and architecture as I can. I've built many buildings in California. I'm so happy to have moved here. There's so many building opportunities in the state, and it's such a beautiful state. I've also, at Columbia, as I've said to Emily many times, I worked for Stephen Hull, who's a very well-known architect in the country, and he was always a teacher, and I was very impressed with this idea of teaching and developing my career. And so I've been teaching for many years, and again, that's how I met Emily. What I would say to all students who are interested in this field is one of the first speakers, I'll confirm that, is he said that, learn as many softwares as you possibly can. I'm constantly learning new softwares, learning how to do things. It includes Photoshop, it includes, the Adobe Edit Suite, and Revit, Rhino, etc. And try to work with architects that you like, do competitions. There's so many, it's such a vast field, and I've really been so enjoying having my own business, and it's worked out pretty well. And then I'm working out of my living room, not having to show up at an office either. So in general, it's been a wonderful career, and I'd recommend trying to teach someday as well. And hope I've covered everything there.
Yes, thank you. So next, okay, so we have next firm is Gensler. It's one of the world's largest architecture and interior design firm. We have two guests from Gensler. The first being Michael Lin. He's a design director and also a former CCSF alumni and a former colleague of mine too. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Really, this is a great occasion. So I started my architecture career at City College. It was back in, my gosh, it was like early 90s, I think. And one of my first class was with Mr. Fernandez. It was in the evening, so I was a part-time student, and I was working during the day and taking classes at night. I had fun memories. And afterwards, I think I was there for a couple of years, and I transferred to Berkeley and went on and pursued a degree there. Then afterwards, I went to get a graduate degree too. So I always look back to City College of great memories because, there's a lot of passionate instructors there. And all of it really, everybody we care about the students. I learned so much compared to all my education career. It was I think it was very it built a great foundation for me. So currently I'm with Gensler. I'm a design director, like Emily mentioned. And as you know, Gensler started out as a small firm in San Francisco doing interior planning in Jackson Square by Art Gensler. And it has grown into a pretty large company. Now have a pretty diverse practice areas, different disciplines, from designing wine labels to all the way to master planning of cities. So everything you can think about that's related to design, we're involved in some way. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to all the students and ask me any questions you have. Thanks for having me. And I'm going to pass it on to Doris next. Emily?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael. So next, I would like to welcome Doris Guerrero. She is a design director associate and also a faculty teaching at California College of the Arts. Welcome, Doris.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I am a design director in the Commercial Interiors Studio, which specializes in workplace design, specifically for technology companies. I have been specializing in workplace design for the past 10 years. I've been with Gensler for 6 years. Before that, I had a very colorful career path, and I think we've heard this before, is to stay flexible. This will be, if it actually turns into a big thing, this will be my 4th recession in my career path. And each time there's a recession, there was a really interesting redirection of my career. I came in during the economic crash in the early 90s, and my creative way into the industry was doing construction administration. I always fancied myself as a designer, so going into construction, I felt a little bit out of water, but it was such a fantastic experience, really getting hands-on experience with materiality and construction. So I found that really valuable at the beginning of my career. Then I had a pretty traditional architectural practice. I worked on civic projects, mixed-use projects. I worked on Four Seasons Tower in a joint venture with Gary Handel Architects. I worked at David Baker's office, which did multi-unit housing. And then another crash happened, and I repositioned, and I did landscape architecture and urban design with George Hargraves, who was at the time, I think, my most esteemed designer in San Francisco. So I decided to go into landscape architecture. At that point, George said, wow, you're way too smart to just not go to grad school. I will recommend you. He was currently a chair at the GSD. But I decided to go to UCLA to pursue advanced studies in digital design and also urban studies. And while I was at UCLA, I participated in a consortium on a material effect and atmosphere at the Getty, and that actually repositioned me again. So I decided that my passion at that phase of my career was interior design. And so I've been doing that for the past, since then. I also had a couple of years in New Orleans post-Katrina. I was a fellow that worked at a CDC that helped create pattern plans based on historic typologies for prototypical housing in New Orleans, for affordable housing in New Orleans post-Katrina. I also taught the design build studio at Tulane University. And after that, I've essentially been teaching at CCA as well. I have taught interdisciplinary advanced studios, integrated building studios, and now I'm currently teaching junior level interior design students. And I currently have a CCSF transfer in my class who's absolutely amazing. And she has one foot in the community at CCSF and one at CCA, and I think that's fabulous. I've worked with alumni before at David Baker's office. So I have a special place for CCSF in my heart. Right now we're sort of winding down on studio, finalizing at CCA. And I have to say that teaching has really kept me curious, kept my design chops going, and really kept me sort of grounded with students. One career advice that I would give is to stay flexible and to stay curious and to venture out into different industries, including construction or furniture design, industrial design, wherever your passion takes you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Doris. Next, I'd like to welcome Village West Design. Village West Design, the principal is Daniel Smith, and he's the principal and lead interior designer. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you. My name is Daniel Ian Smith. I'm a certified interior designer and principal of Village West Design. We are an interior design firm based here in the Bay Area and also in New York City, where I'm from. We do residential design for individual homeowners, everything from magazine-worthy large gut renovation projects to small design jobs where we're just helping families make the most of small spaces on a tight budget. My philosophy is that everyone deserves to have a comfortable home that not only accommodates them, but also inspires them, reflects who they are and who they want to be. I would say from my perspective, we also take on projects and clients. You're also taking on the client. Projects that we want to work on and clients we want to work with and look for opportunities that inspire us. I want to be inspired by the work I'm doing the same way I want to inspire our clients. We see projects through the planning and schematic design phase all the way through construction, implementation, installation. We also do one-off individual design consultations. We collaborate with everyone from wholesale vendors, furniture makers, artists, electricians, GCs, the homeowners, their neighbors, the building management, all those folks. And I enjoy working with all of those people. That's, I think, an important thing is that the advice part of this is that you're not just doing the work, but you're collaborating. You're part, all of us in the construction industry, we're all part of a much larger team. And I think it's important that you enjoy working with your teammates and collaborators. My own path started with an interest in architecture. After a liberal arts education, I took time off from school and I worked in an architecture firm. I actually worked at 3 different architecture firms to make sure this was an interest I wanted to pursue. I went and got a master's degree in architecture. And then eventually, after some time off, some travel, I decided to start my own firm. That was 16 years ago, in 2004. I would say, I'll end with saying that my advice to people starting out is to figure out what's important for you to get out of your work. So some people work is something you want notoriety, fame, recognition from your peers. For other people, it's an opportunity to do something that enables you to do other things outside of work. There could be many things that you want to get out of your work. Once you figure that out, I think the rest of the questions rise organically, and how you respond to those questions and opportunities will shape your career choices. I'm happy to answer other questions in the breakout room. Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel.
So next up, we have Yoko Ishihara, who's the principal and interior designer of Ishihara Wilson. Welcome, Yoko.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm really, really excited to be part of this conversation. I'm very honored. And I really echo what Olayo said about this is a community, it's an extended family. And, you know, we cross paths with many various career categories, and ultimately we do successful project together when we have a camaraderie and support with each other. So really appreciate that. I am a partner of Wilson Ishihara, which is a hospitality design firm. We do hotels, restaurants, bars. Our client includes Michael Mina, Richard Sandoval. We work with a bunch of brands, Viceroy, Marriott, and Westin, and so forth. But we also, our project type varies vastly. We have tiny, tiny tasting room in wine country to large convention hotel public spaces and restaurants and bars. And we do a lot of project in California, but I would say 1/3 of the projects are out of the States. And, you know, when we were able to, we used to travel quite a bit to go to the job sites. Hopefully that's coming back very soon. we consider ourselves not only just the interior designers, but also artists and problem solvers. We are strategists. We are the partner of our clients, solving problems and hopefully advancing their business strategies. That's really important part of us, is to keep our wide range of curiosities antenna out all the time, so we can really incorporate what's happening out there into part of the design solution. Let's see, my background is I'm originally from Japan. I'm born and raised, and came to United States as an international student in Ohio. I went to school at University of Cincinnati interior design program. And after I graduated, I found a job in San Francisco, Gensler, actually, which I crossed paths with Michael. So talking about small world, Michael Lin, who's also on the panel today earlier. I worked on a workplace project for about 13 years. And after that period of time, I really felt that I needed to explore a different genre, different way of working. And so I took a kind of jump off the cliff and left, and took a job at a mid-size hospitality design firm in Marin, EDG. And there I was able to work on a multitude of international projects, hospitality projects mainly, and really was a fun process that went through. And part of the process that I sort of realized was I really much enjoyed hands-on work and very small team, be able to work on kind of nimble projects. And at that time, we decided with my business partner, Mark Wilson, we started our own farm 5 years ago, and it has been an incredible ride. I wanted to echo what Doris said earlier about what advice I would have is just really don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to take a winding path sometimes in a career. When I left Japan, or when I left the workplace design sector, it really felt like sometimes I was back to ground zero, you know, building up knowledge and different way of working or knowing or getting to know people. And I feel that looking back now, ultimately it really paid off in terms of really building a career and different way of looking at things, and makes me realize really humble and be able to look at things and with empathy, you know, trying to understand how to solve problem in a different way of thinking. So I think that's been really critical. I'm going to steal the line from Chip Conley, who I heard him talking about yesterday at webinar. One of the most important mindset is a growth mindset. And he said, focus on improving and not proving. You know, you could always be having a beginner's mentality. You don't know everything. Always feel that you can always learn something new from everyone is a really important attitude, and I take it to heart. Try to do it every day. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Yoko.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one more panelist coming in. Another familiar face here at City College. Two respects. One, they're very involved with our programs, and they're also involved with City College itself. Kitchell and John Watkins. One thing I'd like to mention also is that, you know, we've had some firms where we have former students. A lot of these firms actually go out of their way and hire our students. And that's been a very rewarding part of being part of this construction management program, part of the architecture department, where we meet different firms and they get to know our students, and then they start hiring our students. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Kitchell?
Great, thanks, Olio. And thank you to Melissa for inviting me to be here today. So a little bit about Kitchell. Kitchell's a smaller firm as far as CM firms go. We're about 300 employees spread throughout the West Coast. Our home office is in Sacramento, but we have about 30 to 40 employees here in the Bay Area. We've been working with City College, as Lyle mentioned, for the last 2 years. So we've been very fortunate to have been working with the college. One of the things that struck me is I was listening to the other firms introduce themselves, is how many of them we've worked with as firms. I can't name them all, but AECOM, Excel.
Hey, I had a question. I got your message.
It's been
so
oops.
Doris is
and oh, there he goes. All right, I saw good stuff. So anyway, Kitchell works largely in public works. We have a big education sector. We also do facilities management, engineering, architectural services, and our core business is in program management and capital expenditure advisement. Here, that's been largely my experience. I've had a varied experience, graduated with my degree in civil engineering, and worked on a number of different projects from hospitality to transportation, but always kept on coming back to education. And it's no secret in the industry that in times like these, education is often the industry that keeps the construction sector going. So we're just now kicking off a series of projects here at the college. There's 3 major design build projects going. That's been our focus over the last few months in getting those projects procured and ready to kick off. So those of you that are at the college, you'll expect to see some involvement in the development of those designs, and then in the next year and a half, you'll see some early starts on construction. So we're very excited about that. So just I wanted to close by sharing a piece of advice that I received early in my career, and it's proved true, is always read your contract. And that's kind of it's kind of a flip comment, but what it means is that, just always, there's always an answer. It's not what you know, but it's knowing where to find it. So if you've read your contract and you understand the contracts, then you're going to be a step ahead in being able to provide answers to to clients and to the other project team members that might need them. One other piece of advice I can give you is always go last, because I could tell you, I really don't have much to add. The hard work's already been done for me. So again, thank you to all the industry partners, and look forward to speaking with you in the chat rooms.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, for more information for our department programs, we have some contact. I'm the coordinator of the interior design program. Alayo is the coordinator of the construction management, and George Lynn is the coordinator of the architecture program. Melissa is our employment and training specialist. Furthermore, we have definitely check out our LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. If you just search a CCSF ARC for Department of Architecture, you'll find our groups.
And thank you, panelists. That was amazing. I learned a lot as well. Before we get into our breakout rooms, which I know everyone's anxious to do, we will be following up with a survey for everyone. This is our first virtual panelist event, so we want to be able to improve it for the next time. So in the breakout rooms, panelists, you're welcome to lead it how you want. These are just suggestions in case people aren't really knowing where to start. So again, students, make sure you ask some good questions about the industry and not about jobs, because we'll do that on a different day. Here's some example questions. You're welcome to take a picture of it so that it'll be fresh if you get stuck, if you're feeling shy. What recommendations do you have for career changers? What do are internships the way to go? How did you decide to become a blank? So hopefully you remembered everyone's job titles. Or what is the pathway to become that person? Will your company think it's okay if you have a bachelor's degree in a different field? And this is what I want to know. What does the day-to-day look like? And why do you like your company? So we're about ready to step into our breakout rooms. Do you have questions before we get in there? All right, we're ready, Gustav.
Okay, awesome. So I did ask everyone for the request. I didn't realize the scope of the work when I asked it. So what I did, it's somewhat random for some of the students. I used their whatever designation you put behind your name. I put you in that appropriate room. We're going to break out into 4 different CM rooms. The first one is with TBD consultant, AECOM, and OCMI. Room 2 will have our developer JLL and Mill Creek Residential. Room 3 will have CM with XL Construction, Kitchell, and Herrero. Room 4 will have McCarthy and Swinnerton. Then we'll have 3 architecture / interior design. We have one room with Gensler. The second room the third with David Kessler. And then the third room with Wilson Ishihara, Gensler, and Village West Design. So a little more interior design focused. So again, the room will be open for, let's see. We'll do a 15-minute breakout. At the 15th minute, you'll get a countdown so that you can, you'll be brought back to the main session, and then we'll reassign you. All right, enjoy, guys.
Thank you.
Have fun.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back.
That was interesting.
Couldn't agree more.
Welcome back, everyone. Wow, look at all you guys.
Are you sending us off to a different room?
I will. Actually, I want you guys to smile. I want to take a screenshot. This is kind of so. Give us your best cheese.
Take out my glass.
Oh wait, gotta hit snag it.
I'm a pommy. We don't smile.
Are you able to get
You were
5 pages?
smiling.
3, 2, 1. Gotcha.
Are you able to get all 5 pages of them?
I don't think so. I just got the first, whatever, I got about, whatever you guys see, I can see as well. So,
I got it for you.
all right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Great.
Oh, very much so.
The effort to set that up was a little bit it's pretty Herculean, to say the least, just moving all these people. So I think for this next round, we're gonna just make it completely random, since we only have about I think about 15 minutes left anyways. So get ready to just be put in a room. If it's not a room you want to be in for whatever reason, just raise your hand like you were doing, and I'll come in and I'll place you in a different room. So I'm gonna start those rooms up again, and let me recreate the rooms at random. So we're gonna do 8 rooms, okay. All right, so I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Hi, Emily.
Thanks. Hi.
I took your ass.
Welcome back, everyone. Hey, Melissa, can you unshare your screen for a second? I want to take one last screenshot if I can. The last one was a little blurry. So I think I've figured out how to hide non-video participants. So now everyone whose video is on, I can see you, and now it's only 2 pages. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Say cheese.
Cheese.
And I'm gonna have to have you do it twice because there's 2 pages. So I don't know if everyone do one last one. Let me go to the second page. All right. And capture. Okay, here we go. Second page. Cheese. Gotcha. All right, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was
worries.
very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
panelists. Good to meet you all.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
So,
Good luck to
Lowe,
everybody.
Lowe, would you like to close with
Well, okay, thanks. Well, okay, you're changing. Okay, no, I'd like to thank everybody because the thing is, again, about 2.5 weeks ago, when Gustav brought this up, I was thinking, maybe in 2 weeks we can get 5 or 6 employers. Maybe we'll get 20 or 30 students together, and that'll be fine. That's quite a bit. We've got like 15, 16 employers. I was keeping track of how many people were attending at the top. I think we were at about 113 or 114. So that means we've got about 100 students or so. So I would really like to thank everybody. I appreciate everybody's effort. And no matter what, I was going to consider this a success, but this has gone way beyond anything that I expected. And one thing, when we are able to do the live ones again, we'll be doing them again, mainly because then I can serve food. I go to these guys for the food. But, okay, yeah. That's my inside voice. I shouldn't have said that outside. Yeah, I go for the food. But I can see that we're definitely going to be doing these regardless of, because I can see that this has a lot of impact, and it'll give us another ability to reach out and maybe expand our CCSF family. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for making this a great success. Hope everybody, is doing well, continues to do well, and that we see you again in the near future. Thank you again.
And for those of
Thanks,
you that
Lowe.
aren't in our program right now and you're joining, I know there was a few folks from City Build. Reach out to us and learn about CM or architecture, interior design if it interests you.
And the thing is, Gustav, we do have this on recording, so you'll be posting it, I guess, to everybody who participated in the recording.
Yeah.
So we'll have the panelist portion on recorded, and then there you also had the slide with the contact information. So yeah, please follow up, reaching out to the instructors. And we'd be more than happy to follow up with any other questions you might have, in terms of career paths, education, et cetera, et cetera.
Olaya, if I could jump in for just a quick minute.
Sure.
On the building user groups for the 3 main projects, the Diego Rivera Theater, the STEAM building, and the Student Success Center, we're always looking for student input. So if you have a desire to serve as part of that committee, please reach out to Amy Coffey and or your Associated Student Council representative. And we'll be very excited to take your input into the process. It's also a great opportunity to get involved in a construction project, without, it's kind of low stakes at this point, so we would love for you to volunteer some of your time. And again, ASC or Amy Coffey will be able to point you in the right direction. So thank you, Eli. I started to jump in at the end.
No, great job, because that brought up something else, because actually in the next few years, we're going to be in a very enviable position where there's going to be a lot of construction going on right here at City College. And so starting from like right now, for the next few years, there are going to be a lot of different opportunities for people here at the college to participate in different respects with the projects that are going on at City College. So thanks for bringing that up, John.
Thank
Emily,
you,
any
everyone.
last
It's
minute?
a great success, and appreciate all the advice from our panelists and the students' participation. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was very nice. I liked it.
Yes,
Thanks
thank
for
you,
the
everyone.
invite.
I know we went over time and we had so much fun, though.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I liked it very much.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, CCSF folks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.